Picture this. The little black Apple TV box sitting under your TV right now quietly becomes the most powerful computer in your living room, and maybe even your next game console, without you ever hearing a fan spin up. That sounds insane, right? But if the latest leaks are even half true, that is exactly what Apple is planning for early 2026. And it is such a big jump that, honestly, the Apple TV 4K you own today is already on borrowed time. So before you spend another dollar on a streaming box or even a new game console, listen carefully, because what Apple is building is not just another Apple TV. It is a stealth console, an AI hub, and the brain of your smart home, all hiding in a tiny, silent box. Let's start with the weird part. Apple has basically skipped an entire generation. All through 2025, everyone expected a new Apple TV. It never came. No event, no press release, nothing. But behind the scenes, tvOS kept getting updates. We are now seeing references in tvOS 26.1 code, and buried inside that software is code for stuff the current hardware just cannot do. We are talking about generative AI, on-device language models, predictive caching, and heavy-duty home automation logic. These are the kind of things that need serious neural processing power and memory bandwidth. The current Apple TV 4K, with its A15 chip and 4 gigabytes of RAM, simply doesn't have enough muscle to run that locally. So instead of pushing out a minor refresh, Apple appears to have done something very un-Apple-like. It waited. It held the hardware until the silicon could fully match the software. And that brings us to the new box rumored for early 2026, built around what people are already calling Apple's Silicon Trinity. 3 pieces of hardware that together turn the Apple TV from a fancy Netflix machine into a real computer. First, the brain. Leaks say Apple isn't bothering with the A16. They are reportedly going straight to the A17 Pro, the same chip that launched with the iPhone 15 Pro for the higher-end Apple TV. Why does that matter? One word: gaming. The A17 Pro isn't just a faster chip. It has hardware-accelerated ray tracing. That is the same class of graphics tech you see hyped on modern consoles and high-end PCs. Ray tracing means realistic reflections on wet streets, accurate shadows, and believable lighting bouncing off surfaces. Not mobile game tricks, but actual console-grade effects. And Apple has already shown that this chip can run real games like Resident Evil Village, Death Stranding, and Assassin's Creed Mirage on an iPhone. Now, imagine that same power, but plugged into a 4K TV, always connected to power, with a proper controller in your hand and no battery limits to worry about. Suddenly, this tiny black box isn't just a streamer. It is a stealth console sitting in plain sight. And here's where it gets interesting. If Apple pulls this off, you could have full-blown AAA titles running natively in your living room without buying a PlayStation, Xbox, or gaming PC, all from something that looks like a coaster. But raw power alone isn't enough. The second piece of this trinity is what quietly makes your current Apple TV feel old overnight: memory. The new Pro model is widely rumored to jump from 4 gigabytes of RAM to 8 gigabytes. Now, that might sound like a boring spec bump. It is not. 8 gigabytes is the threshold Apple needs to run its new generation of on-device AI models smoothly. Right now, tvOS 26.1 already includes support for those models. The problem is the current Apple TV can't comfortably keep the memory while also handling 4K video, your apps, and games. So, the features are there in code, but effectively locked. With 8 gigabytes of RAM, that changes. It means the Apple TV can keep a big language model resident in memory while you're streaming, gaming, or controlling your home. It means you can balance between a high-fidelity game and a Dolby Vision movie without the system quietly killing apps in the background. It means instant app switching actually feels instant, even when you're pushing the box hard. For AI, for gaming, for heavy multitasking, 8 gigabytes is the line between nice streaming device and this is a real computer. The third piece of the puzzle: the connection. For the first time, Apple is reportedly adding a dedicated connectivity chip, often referred to as the N1. This thing is all about speed and responsiveness. It brings Wi-Fi 7, which isn't just faster Wi-Fi. It is about higher throughput and dramatically lower latency. If you use cloud gaming services like GeForce Now, or stream high bitrate 4K and 8K local files through Plex, this matters. We're talking about getting rid of those random stutters and buffering wheels that ruin the experience. But the N1 isn't just a Wi-Fi update. It is also rumored to be an upgraded thread and Matterboard router. Translation: it becomes the anchor of your smart home. Instead of your lights, locks, cameras, and thermostat constantly competing with your TV traffic on the main chip, all that smart home chatter gets offloaded to this low-power connectivity brain. So, even if you are in the middle of a heavy gaming session, your smart home still responds instantly. Turn off the lights, lock the doors, adjust the thermostat. Zero lag. Your Apple TV becomes the always-on, always listening hub that keeps your home stitched together. Now, what does all that hardware actually do for you in real life? Let's start with something every one of us has complained about: movie dialogue you can't hear. You crank the volume to catch what the characters are saying, and then the next explosion blows your ears off. The new Apple TV is expected to ship with an AI-powered dialogue boost feature that doesn't just raise the volume. It understands the audio using the neural engine in that A17 Pro. It can analyze the soundtrack in real time, figure out which parts are human voices, and separate them from explosions, music, and ambient effects. It then lifts the dialogue and intelligently compresses the rest so voices stay clear without flattening the whole sound mix like a cheap night mode. Same movie, same speakers, but suddenly every word is crisp, even at lower volumes. Then there is Siri. And no, not the old, dumb Siri you're probably thinking of. With on-device language models and 8 gigabytes of RAM to keep them alive, Siri on this new Apple TV starts to feel less like a voice button and more like a conversational assistant. You won't have to remember exact movie titles or app names. You'll be able to say things like, "Show me that sci-fi movie from the 90s where Brad Pitt fights a bear." And it will dig through the metadata on all your services and figure out you probably mean 12 Monkeys, or maybe Legends of the Fall if you got the genre wrong, and suggest it. Already watching something and see an actor you recognize but can't place? You should be able to ask, "Who is the guy in the blue jacket?" and get an on-screen overlay with the actor's name, where you have seen him before, and maybe a quick link to other movies and shows with him, all without pausing the scene. That is not just a search box. That is a layer of live, contextual intelligence on top of whatever you are watching. And then there is the wild card: gestures. No, Apple isn't expected to stick a camera into the Apple TV itself. Instead, leaks say they're leaning heavily into continuity camera using the camera you already have in your iPhone. Put your iPhone on a stand near the TV, and the Apple TV can reportedly use that camera to track your hand movements. Imagine raising your hand to pause the movie, swiping left or right in the air to browse through rows of content. Simple, intuitive gestures, Kinect style, but powered by the phone that is already in your pocket. No extra hardware, no giant plastic accessory in your living room. Just software, AI, and the devices you already own working together. Now, let's talk money, because this is where Apple's strategy gets really interesting. Right now, a lot of people look at the Apple TV and say, why would I pay $129 or $149 when a Roku or Fire Stick is so much cheaper? Apple seems to know that. So, the current rumor is a two-model lineup. The first, a new entry-level Apple TV around $99. This would be focused purely on streaming, likely with a more modest chip and without the full N1 connectivity suite. Think of it as the Just Play My Shows and Movies box. The second, a Pro model starting around $149 or a bit higher. This is the one with the A17 Pro, 8 gigabytes of RAM, gigabit Ethernet, Wi-Fi 7, the upgraded smart home hub, basically the full Silicon Trinity and all the AI features we have been talking about. If you're in the US, that pricing puts it right in striking distance of a lot of people who might have never considered an Apple TV before, especially if they realize it can double as a serious gaming machine and the nerve center of an Apple-powered smart home. So what should you do? If you own a 2021 or 2022 Apple TV and you only use it for Netflix, Disney+, YouTube, and basic streaming, you are fine. It will keep doing that for years. But if you care about any of this, gaming, AI features, smarter Siri, rock-solid Wi-Fi for high bitrate video, or you're building a serious smart home around HomeKit, Matter, and Thread? Then the answer is simple. Wait. The jump to an A17 Pro Class chip, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and a dedicated N1 connectivity brain isn't a small annual refresh. It is a line in the sand. When this Apple TV lands in early 2026, it won't just be the new streamer from Apple. It will be the quiet, fanless, ridiculously powerful computer in your living room, and possibly the sneakiest game console Apple has ever made. The little black box under your TV right now, it is about to feel a lot more like a DVD player in a streaming world. If you like the video, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell icon like that. And let me know in the comments. Would you play console games on an Apple TV? Or is that just a pipe dream? Thanks for watching.